Hi, we're going to talk about those shaking green leaves, the hints that programs such as Ancestry.com provide as you begin researching your ancestors. Do they belong in your tree? Stay tuned, we'll talk about it. The technology behind the hints programs for Ancestry.com, familysearch.org, and the other genealogy platforms have become extremely sophisticated and really quite good. And so these hints can be extremely valuable for you as you do your ancestry research. They do a great job of bringing things to your attention that you may have missed and help you build your tree. But they aren't all correct. And to make matters worse, once somebody accepts a hint in their tree, if Ancestry thinks that your individual is the same, they'll provide that hint to you, perpetuating that mistake. And that just makes matters worse. So let's dive in and talk about how to determine if a hint applies to your ancestor or not. First of all, don't be afraid of the hints. Use them. I use them all the time. You just need to verify them and not blindly accept them. So how do you know whether or not a hint belongs to your ancestor or not? You need to look at the image. You need to look at that census record or the birth or marriage record. You need to see all of the little information in there. You want to look at who was living with that individual if it's a census record. You want to look at where the record was. Does this fit into your ancestor's timeline? If they were living in Illinois for the majority of their life and you have a record pop up in Nevada, you're going to doubt that this is your ancestor. Don't be too worried if the name is indexed incorrectly. Sometimes when people have indexed a record, it's difficult to read the handwriting and they do the best they can. Other times, the enumerator themselves has written the name down incorrectly. They may have heard it incorrectly, or maybe they weren't terribly literate and they're just spelling it out the best way they can. So that is not necessarily a bad thing if the name isn't spelled the way you know it to be spelled. And again, I'm going to say this again because I don't want you to miss it. Look at the image. The image provides lots more information. It tells you who lived around the person in a census record. On their draft card, it tells you how tall they were, their complexion, the color of their hair, their eyes, their weight. So always, always, always look at the image itself. Now, another little trick that I want to touch on briefly is maybe doing some background research. This applies more to census records because that's where I feel like a lot of times families are built erroneously. Some of the ways that you can kind of search out and decide if this is your correct ancestor or not is to perform a census evaluation of a particular area in a particular time. And let me show you how this is done. Here's Edward Thomas Filer. I'm looking for him in a census record because I want to try to build this family a little bit more, and I want to find the census record that pertains to him. From family records, I know that Edward Thomas Filer was born the 18th of March, 1856 in DuPage County, Illinois. Here, the 1870 census record is the first record I see on his hints page, so I'm going to click Review. Ancestry brings up records on the side. Quite frankly, I don't like that. So what I do is I just click on the record itself at the top, and then it will open it up in a new page. Now I'm looking at the record and I'm looking at the information that has been indexed within that record. I see that Edward Filer, age 14, okay, he's about the right age, was living in Downers Grove, DuPage County, Illinois. That's the same county that he was born in. His father's name is Frank and his mother's name is Rhoda, which corresponds with information that I have. And then I see he has a little sister. Now, one of the ways that I can evaluate this is to do a census check. Let me show you how I do that. Up at the top left corner, I can click Search, and I can go down and select Census and Voter Lists. And I'm going to look for Edward Filers who were born in 1856 in Illinois. I'm not going to put a ton of information in here, and I'm going to click Search. Now I have a Census and Voter List result for Edward Filer of about that age who was born in Illinois. On the left-hand side, I can apply filters, and I'm going to filter with the 1870 census because that's the census that came up in my hint. Now, I have quite a lot of results, but some of these results are not the census records. If I want, I can go down here to the bottom and just look at 1870 censuses. I can also filter on the top left to just county and adjacent counties. and update. Now I only have 3 results. So this little quick census trick, doing a quick census evaluation, helps me know if there are multiple people by the name of Edward Filer that are living in a particular area. Once I've ruled out the fact that there really weren't any other possibilities in the area and all of the other information is correct, I have pretty good confidence that the 1870 census hint is the correct census record for my Edward Filer. So, to get back to the basic things that we need to be looking at when we're looking at hints, use common sense. Make sure the information is lining up with what you know about your ancestor. Is the name correct or very close? Are the family members correct? Is the location, the timing, his age, all of that information, is that correct? Is it making sense? Are the pieces fitting together? And when you find something that doesn't make sense and doesn't quite fit together, that's a red flag. Don't just automatically add that hint. Do a little bit of extra research to determine if this is the correct information for your ancestor. And again, for the 3rd time, don't forget, look at the image. Not only will it be rewarding, but it can provide great information and help you draw closer to your ancestors, which is what this is all about. I hope this has been of help for you today. Please hit like if this has, and please don't hesitate to ask any other questions that you might have. Keep on researching and have a great day.